So here's the deal. I'm a cat, so I pretty much just lie around all day and sleep. But when I'm awake, I get bored. So to pass the time, I listen to a bunch of fantasy football podcasts and check out football sites on the web. Now, I've been playing fantasy football since the days when most mice were not connected to a computer. So I figured it's time I share my strategies and opinions on how to win at fantasy football. Think of my channel as a quick way to get your fantasy football fix and bask in my incredible cuteness. On this first episode, I want to talk about a pet peeve of mine. All the fantasy football talking heads at this time of year are talking about draft value and how you want to wait on quarterbacks and how there are tons of receivers out there and you want to load up on running backs in the first few rounds. Well, let me tell you this. My strategy is to get the best player at each position if possible. So that means last year, Peyton Manning at quarterback, Jimmy Graham at tight end, Calvin Johnson at receiver. If you got one of those guys, then you were dominating at that position each week when going head to head against somebody. And as for running backs, they always get injured. So there's no guarantee that even you get a guy who scores a lot of points, that he'll be able to play the whole year. So for me, I like to get the best player. Let me give you an example. Last year, the fantasy football experts were telling you to take Adrian Peterson, Arian Foster, Doug Martin, and C.J. Spiller in the first round. Well, all four of those running backs got injured during the year, and some had terrible seasons. Now, for me, I'm always taking a player that I know is going to have a good shot to play all 16 games and will dominate at that position. So for this year, my picks are going to be in the first round Jimmy Graham or Peyton Manning, Calvin Johnson, Dez Bryant, or Drew Brees. And the only running back I'll consider taking in the first round is LaShawn McCoy, and I'll back up that pick with Darren Sproles as my handcuff later on in the draft. Okay, I'm tired again. That's all I've got in me for this episode. Bye.